I can't do it.
Okay.
We'll do it live.
Okay.
No. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Right.
Fucking thing sucks.
In 5, 4, 3.
Anyone claiming that America's economy is in decline is peddling fiction.
I've abandoned free market principles to save the free market system.
But we have to pass the bill so that you can find out what is in it.
Raising the debt ceilings does not increase our debt. It does not somehow promote profligacy.
I know words. I have the best words. Nobody knows the system better than me, which is why I alone can fix it.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Peddling Fiction Podcast. I'm your host, the voice and soul of so-called fiction, Johnny Profita. And back with me, a little late, but never too late to get it going, is Justin Hillbilly Boy Campbell. What's happening over there?
Oh, not much. Having some. We had a tornado outbreak the other night. I didn't know there was such a thing, but there were in the general area. There were a total of 37 tornadoes that were spotted somewhere, around. Now, we're right here at our house. We got some rain and strong winds, and that was it. Power went out for about 2 minutes right at the beginning of the storms, and then nothing else after that, and everything was fine. But apparently there were two that hit pretty close south of us and another one that hit pretty close north of us, and then just in the expanded what is considered this tri-state area, there were 37 total. So that was pretty nuts. I wouldn't actually know I slept through the whole thing.
Tornado outbreak makes it just sounds so ridiculous. That's got to be some sort of climate change initiative to change the name to tornadoes to make it sound extra scary or something.
Well, this is about the time of year that this happens anyway. It's not like this is unusual or new, but yeah, they called it a tornado outbreak. Again, like around this time of year, every year we have this type of weather. It's not surprising if you've lived here for more than 2 months, but yeah, it gets reported like it's some phenomenon every year. Like, you have earthquake season, we have tornado season. This isn't, it's like, it's going to get hot in the summer. Oh, guess what? Now we're going to light up all the, of the radar or all the radar images red and talk about how hot it is. Like, yeah, it's, this happens every year. It's called seasonal weather.
Yeah. I'll tell you, that's life. Like, that's life on this planet. There's gonna be weather.
Have you seen all the Europeans talking about why it's so noble of them not having air conditioning? It's like, just admit that you live in poverty countries that are technologically in the Stone Ages, and like, it's fine. You can admit that you suck. We all know that.
Connecting with the weather. And, dude, what was that one post? I should have flagged it. Maybe you flagged it as retard of the week.
No.
Damn it. It was like, yeah, we just have a different relationship with the weather, and we live for the seasons, and so we open the windows. And
yeah, in the spring when it's nice, we open the windows too. And in the fall when it's nice, we open the windows too. And in the summer when you might die of heat stroke, we close the windows and turn on the air conditioning because, we're not stupid. That's
dude, yeah, there's a bunch of stuff I was looking at this
Isn't
morning
it
that
crazy?
I didn't flag for some reason.
They're like, oh well, people in Europe can't afford air conditioning. Like, dude, like, people living in trailer parks have air conditioning. What the fuck you mean you can't afford air conditioning? Like, proof that the rest of the world is seriously in poverty, and we are the only like first world nation that there is. Like,
there it is. You can. I just sent it. You can pull that up and read it. I didn't do justice to how stupid and gay it was.
I did see this. I think Americans misunderstand why air conditioning is less common in Europe. For a lot of Europeans, comfort is not always about controlling everything artificially. It's also about opening the windows, letting air circulate, using shutters, living with the seasons, and keeping life simple. It's not necessarily backwards. It's just a different relationship with comfort, energy, and everyday life. Yeah, you can't afford the comforts of everyday life. Basically, is like you can't afford to, and it doesn't help that a lot of European nations that had like, you know, very productive coal and nuclear energy shuttered all of that to go to all of this green energy, and now they have like rolling blackouts because their green energy can't actually sustain the power demands that the countries have. It's fine. Just admit that you all live in poverty. It's cool. Actually, you don't even live in poverty. Like I said, everybody in the trailer park has air conditioning. Like,
well, but they have universal health care. We're the only country that doesn't have universal health care, Justin.
Their universal health care does them so much good when they're dying of heat exhaustion every summer. And what's crazy is like when you look at the numbers of people in Europe who die of heat exhaustion every summer, and then you look at their average temperatures, it's like not even that hot. They're like getting in the 80s. Like they're just straight up not built for life. Like if like mid to upper 80s is killing off that many people, y'all need air conditioning badly. You are clearly not meant to be at one with nature. Nature is going to fucking kill you. You need air conditioning.
It's really nice. It is. The air conditioning I have here is not great. I think I probably need to get it fixed. But there's like 3 different units, one for this main room that I'm in, and only half of it works. And then there's one in each bedroom. And I'll tell you what, dude. I mean, it costs a fortune to run it. Like you literally do have to be Rockefeller to run the AC here. It's just stupid what it costs to run it like 24/7. You don't really need it now with like the ocean breeze, but at night when you're trying to, like, you got to have AC, or you will just wake up in like a pool of sweat like every couple of hours. Particularly in the summertime. It's funny, like when my aunt and uncle be here, they'll complain about he was like complaining about the AC or something. He's like, yeah, it was really hot. I like changed bedrooms or something. I was like, dude, this is the winter here. Talk to me in fucking July, August, September, when it is fucking brutal, man. I don't know what I would do without the AC. But I've been to Europe in the summer. I'm trying to think of the places I stayed at if they had AC. I'm pretty sure they did. But those are like Airbnb. Like, I think you got to have it if you're going to rent your place out. They have those like shitty little ones that kind of sit up there in the corner of the wall. Yeah, dude, Europeans. Universal healthcare, though. Universal healthcare. We're the savages. They're not the savages for living in the same conditions as their ancestors did a couple hundred years ago. It's a fucking castle. Yeah, we open the windows. Yeah, you do. Let air flow. You ever been into one of those like medieval castles? There's not a lot of airflow.
You know what's funny is like we just turned the air on, I don't know, within the last couple weeks. Like we basically went through the whole month of May without even turning the air on because it never really got hot, like what we consider hot. Like today is high of 83. That's not hot. Like the only reason I have the little air conditioner running out here right now is because sitting out here with the windows and everything closed, it'll get really stuffy really quick. But like if I've got the windows open and stuff out here, it's fine. Like an 80, 85 degree day, it's fine. And like what Europeans are griping about or are like dying from is the same weather conditions that we think are like normal and not that bad. Like
yeah, I mean it is relative to a certain degree. I'll see Mexicans walking around with like pants and long sleeves. I'm just like, even when maybe not like this time of year, but like pretty close, you know, in like April or something when it's like 82, 83. I'm like, yep, this is their winter, so they're wearing like a hoodie. Anyway, I sent you a couple other things on Europe. I know you might have had a few things given
so
the title of today's show.
So we'll start with the ones that you had sent, because there were a couple different ones of Italians who are basically fed up with this shit. So the first one is Italians on like the local transit and stuff, posting social media videos showing how these public transport inspectors are asking them for tickets, but completely ignore the immigrants who sneak on without paying. Like white privilege is now you get the privilege of paying for everything while the entire rest of the world gets ignored and allowed to do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah, let me so for anybody that hasn't been to Italy, or I'm sure like a lot of places in Europe, places in Japan, trains kind of work this way too, to a certain extent, is like you can get on the train without buying a ticket. In Japan, there's usually like one gate you have to get through, and then you can go to any platform. But depending on the type of train, you might have to buy like an extra ticket, or buy one on the train. In Italy, like you're supposed to like buy your ticket, get on the train, and then they have like some dude come around and scan your ticket. And some people run the risk of getting on there and hoping they can get off at their stop without getting scanned, but they're usually pretty good about it. And a lot of like Americans and stuff just forget, like they just don't understand the system, and so they think they have like the first ticket, but you don't have the actual ticket for the train ride that you're taking. And so you're on the train without a ticket, and then you have to buy one. They'll like just force you to buy one. They have like a little credit card scanner or something, and you just buy it on the train. But yeah, apparently, if you're the right skin color, they're just bypassing you now. And more and more people have been noticing this, that they just don't want to deal with it's just not worth it for them to deal with like an out of control piece of shit that's going to throw a huge fit and fight and whatever on the trains. So yeah, here's some video of that.
Salve.
If you're just listening, there's clearly a fair-skinned lady who's being scanned, and right across from her is a migrant who just sitting there, and the guy just walks right by, doesn't even look at him. And then there's two more migrants to his side that also don't get scanned.
Didn't even look at him. Just doesn't even acknowledge. I mean, maybe that's racist in its own way, just not even acknowledging that they exist. But it's, yeah, like you said, that they already know they don't have a ticket. They don't want to deal with the fight that they're going to have to get in by just asking them to either show proof of a ticket or buy a ticket, because they're going to create a scene. It's becoming untenable, and especially in like Italy, for example, the next video, like Italian people are getting fed up with it. All of Europe is starting to get fed up with it. You're seeing it in Ireland, England, Germany, like everywhere. And so here's a video from Italy where they're fucking fed up with it. And of course, the suicidally empathetic women like try to jump in the way, like, oh no, stop! Like, shut the fuck up, bitch, and get out of the way.
That bothers me more than anything. Every time I watch some sort of fight video. But if you were just listening, there was like one migrant, and there was like a bunch of these Italian guys that were just trying to kick the shit out of him. It's kind of unclear what started it, but at this point, we really don't need to guess too hard. It's not just like, oh, migrant, let's get him. He was being a jagoff somehow. Almost certainly.
Well, some of the posts about this particular incident said that this has become a Waffle House type of environment, like, you know, and you know what I mean by the Waffle House type of environment. Like, these people are going to show up, start screaming at each other, and start
like cutting in line or something.
And,
he was probably just trying to like be an entitled piece of shit, tried to cut in line. Some dude got in his face, and then others are jumping in, which is nice. I like the support. And then you get this dumb bitch that's like, these guys are swinging chairs and shit, like, and she comes in there, all 120 pounds of her, and she's gonna break it up. Like, yeah, and by the way, stop trying to fucking protect the migrants that we're trying to kick out of the country. This is because of more women in charge. It's not a coincidence that a lot more women have positions of power, and immigration has just gone through like absolutely retarded levels of insanity.
It's that suicidal empathy. Like, they think that they need to care for everybody, and don't recognize that not everybody deserves to be cared for.
And that is a very important, good instinct that women have, but it has a time and a place. And running a country that's not the time and the place. When you're talking about like these like social welfare programs and everything, because that type of attitude is what traps people in poverty. It what invites in the third world, where they really underestimate how savage some of these people can be. And dude, like I said, I've been to Italy a few times. Four times now. 4 times, at least 3 times, maybe 4. And like, I've actually seen it get progressively worse. Like, the first time I went was in 2017, and then I went 2 more times since then. And dude, certain parts of these cities, it's like, dude, there's a lot of these scammers walking around. Parts of Rome, that's become like a really big thing. Naples was already a kind of a shithole, Napoli, by the time I got there in 2017, but it was significantly worse. Dude, I remember both times I went there was with I had a girlfriend with me, and they were like, dude, we got to get out of here. I was like, yeah, because I knew that I was going to be responsible for 2 people and all their belongings. I was like, yeah. It was just like, you should have seen the looks on their faces. And it's not even like we were in like some bad part of Naples. It was like, yeah, this is just it. Like, you don't want to be standing around in broad daylight, dude. Like 2:00 in the afternoon, you don't want to, like, you're on your head on a swivel. I remember like even just a couple of train cars before I got there. The first time, you could see the clientele change drastically, and you start getting, you know, your instincts start kicking in, your survival instincts start kicking in. And then when you actually get there, it's just like, oh yeah, this is like little Haiti almost. It's ridiculous. And everything, there's garbage everywhere, covered in graffiti, like all these beautiful things trashed, covered in graffiti, people loitering everywhere. Just
the problem is, going back to like the woman jumping in the middle of it, women have terrible survival instincts. Like, you talk about being on the train or being in these places, and like that 6th sense kind of kicking in, like, oh, I've got to have my head on a swivel. We got to get the fuck out of here. Like, this is not a good situation to be in. Like, for whatever reason, and you see it in like these viral videos all the time. Women do not have that instinct. Like, the
chick on the train, Ivana, whatever, just sat with her back to that dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
Headphones on or whatever. Yeah. It's right. They do need to be protected. Like we didn't like invent these roles so that we could dominate the world or something. This is just the way it makes sense. Like this is the way it should be. Is the way it works best.
It's like the meme. We don't protect our women because they're weak. We protect them because they're retarded. It's like they lack the ability to do it for themselves. That's why we do that.
These women jumping into these fights, man. I don't understand it. I don't like. They have this level of it's just like delusion that they're gonna be able to do something.
But then like you look at this video where if you're living in the United Kingdom as a woman, you might not even have to jump into the fight. The police might just bring the fight to you.
Yo, what's he doing? Yo, what's he, man? Why is he squaring up to him? Yo, he's got the baton! Yo, what are they doing?
Okay, so what was going on there? What's the backstory to that one? Because I saw a little something about it, and I watched the first 10 seconds of that clip of women just getting shoved around by the European cops. But they seemed to make it. They were making it like another racial thing, whereas like the white women were getting pushed around by the cops, but the migrants weren't.
Yeah, and it was something about like there were a bunch of migrants causing a scene, creating a disturbance, and the cops show up and start attacking all of these white women who were just trying to stand up for themselves instead of actually. And then this is something that's happened like multiple times over the last week or so. And of course, this is all in the wake of that report that came out.
Henry Novak or something. Yeah.
Oh, well, that guy getting damn near decapitated, and that was in Ireland. And then you had the report that came out that said like 250,000 women had been raped by immigrants in Europe, or maybe it might have been in the United Kingdom. But anyway, like, and what was I think the even worse part of that report was like 250,000 rapes and like nothing, like 16,000 or something that actually got like punished for it. The rest were like slap on the wrist and let go. And that was what prompted the British Prime Minister to resign. Keir Starmer.
Yeah, it was just in the UK, the report. The Libs of TikTok thing I just sent you kind of lays out some of the details that you were just trying to recall. Yeah, I think the Henry Novak was he was the guy that got stabbed by the two Sikhs.
Yeah,
and the cops are just giving like the benefit of the doubt. I think his name was Henry Novak. The cops are giving the benefit of the doubt to like their own citizens or to migrants over their own citizens in like almost every single case. And like they're getting the benefit of the doubt on the Italian trains, or it's just like, oh yeah, we're not even going to try to get this guy's ticket. Whenever there's some sort of a disturbance, a call to the cops, it's like, yeah, whatever these migrants say is what we're going to go with as the story. And if you say anything, we'll arrest you. You post anything on Facebook, you're going to do more jail time than these rapists. But yeah, go ahead and read some of that.
The UK Rape Gang Inquiry Report just dropped, and it should make your blood boil. At least 250,000 young white girls were groomed, raped, trafficked, and tortured. Perpetrators followed consistent tactics of befriending vulnerable girls as young as 11 with gifts, drugs, and alcohol before subjecting them to group rapes, violence, blackmail, pregnancies, forced conversions, and trafficking. UK institutions, including police, special services, schools, NHS and politicians catastrophically failed victims through denial, ignored reports, criminalization of the victims, destruction of evidence, and prioritization of political correctness and fears of racism accusations over child protection. 87 to 95% of convicted perpetrators in group-based child sexual exploitation cases were Muslim. It was predominantly Muslim Pakistani gangs. They operated across 149 local authority districts. Groups of Somali, Iranian, Syrian, Turkish, and other Muslim origins were also involved. The Muslim perpetrators operated under an honor and shame-based clan code that treated non-Muslim girls, especially white working-class girls, as property available for sexual use. Girls were told that they were white trash who deserved punishment. And this went on for like literally years. There's a full report of it that goes into a whole lot more detail. The number of people that were actually, like, while this stuff was being reported and ignored, the number of people who were caught and then punished, but the punishment was barely a slap on the wrist, if even that. Usually it was just a straight up catch and release. Like, this is the reason why Keir Starmer resigned, because this report came out. Of course, the new guy that's going to replace him said the first thing he's going to do is travel to Jerusalem and kiss the wall. So, like, every time a British prime minister resigns, the one that takes their place is even fucking worse. And as soon as it was announced that he was going to resign, I said the next one's going to be worse. I guarantee it. And sure enough, I was like, well, I don't like to be right, but here we are.
Dude, that just reminded me of something that I saw, and I have not really looked into this, but the elections in all these like South American countries since USAID has been unfunded. Do you have anything on that?
I just saw probably the same thing you saw.
Our feeds are pretty similar.
Every election in South America since the defunding of USAID has resulted in a far right-wing candidate winning. So,
yeah, does it have a list of the countries? It was pretty impressive. Apparently, the USAID funding in the UK, I mean, they fund it themselves. They've got their own retarded programs to fund
Chile, far right Cast won. Bolivia, the far right Paz won. In Peru, the far right Fujimori won. In Ecuador, the far right Noboa won. In Honduras, the far right Asfiro won. In Colombia, the far right Aspirilla won. And in Costa Rica, the far right Fernandez won.
Yeah.
And another important to note, all of those are pro-USA candidates as well.
Isn't that interesting? And now you see why they're freaking out. And then, of course, I saw some other idiots posting, dude, they, just citing that same report. I think I went over this on the show at the time, where it said 600,000 people have died because of USAID funding being cut. And the report was an estimate, a model. It was modeled by these two former USAID employees who lost their jobs. It was just like, oh, okay. Yeah, I can make a model too when I get fired that says, oh, yeah, because you fired me, now 600,000 people are going to die. And it's just like, show me the fucking bodies, dude. Show me the goddamn bodies of the 600,000 people. But they might even be upping the estimates now because of but anyway, it just shows to show you why they're freaking out about losing some of that funding. They're losing some of their control over some places down south there. But yeah, the UK's got their own funding for left-wing retarded ideology. And it's gonna and like you said, it's almost like a setup, because like in Ireland, where the people are like rising up, it's like, oh yeah, now look at these far right lunatics trying to revolt against the government. It's like, well, yeah, look what your government's doing to them.
Yeah, that was, like you said, the guy in or like we were talking about before, the guy in Ireland that got his head almost cut off. Now you've got a guy that there was a guy in Ireland that, and after that happened, then you had all of the Irish politicians going out and apologizing for all of the racism against the people who almost cut this guy's head off. Like, and then the police are trying to stop the protests and rallies that are in support of, that are saying, hey, we need to be doing something about these people that are literally killing us in the streets. And instead of doing anything about the people literally killing them in the streets, they go and they shut down the protests and the rallies that are trying to be like pro, Irish people. So then some guy just goes out and starts murdering Muslims. And it's like that's not the way to do this. But also, what other choice are you giving the people? Like, you are clearly not going to protect us. So, like, if you don't want vigilante justice, then the justice system has to actually do its job. And if it doesn't,
it's like I don't condone it, but I understand it.
Right, exactly. Let's like, so Alan Moore's Watchmen, his character Rorschach was meant to be a cautionary tale of like, what if Batman didn't have morals? But when you read Watchmen and you see what Rorschach did and you see why he did it, and he's doing it in response to, like, he is taking vigilante justice to its extreme because the police and the justice system has failed the people and it does not do anything. Like, Alan Moore wanted Rorschach to be a cautionary tale against vigilante justice, and instead he became like a cult hit character that people really liked because people saw that the justice system is a fucking failure, and that is the response. Unfortunately, that's where you leave people if you don't do anything to actually administer justice. Elon Musk retweeted a report that showed that like 97% of crime is committed by repeat offenders. It's like, if you just take the people who commit crime and get rid of them, then crime goes away. It's crazy, right?
El Salvador. Although, have you seen that chart what's his name in El Salvador?
Bukele?
Yeah, he circulated. It shows like number of like violent, like murders or something versus incarceration levels.
Yeah, hang on, I've got that saved actually.
But I mean, what if the vigilante doesn't have more? Like, you can make the same argument for the people in charge of the government. Like, people just assume that everybody involved in government are these like angels. It's that great Milton Friedman quote where it's just like, where are you finding these angels in government? Where it's just like, yeah, well, what if the people in charge of the justice system all of a sudden don't have the same kind of morals that you want, and they have a monopoly on this whole thing and like an enforcement apparatus? Nobody seems to be worried about, then you're just going to vote the right ones in. Like, yeah, that's working very, very well, right? And especially when it comes to these judges and everything that get a lifetime guarantee on the bench, essentially. You have to impeach it. Like, good luck doing that. Okay, so yeah, here's the chart. Can you make it any bigger? Maybe not. There you go. So yeah, murder rate versus incarceration rate. So what I do find interesting is it did start to plummet in 2015 before he started to, in 2020, just arrest everybody. So I'm a little interested as to what started the trend, because this looks like the trend was already in place to go drastically down.
So they were already starting to trend in that direction of because it
Yeah.
had spiked so much. They were starting to arrest more anyway. And then when Bukele came into office, it was just like, they're not going far enough. Like, they have started to address the problem. We are going to end the problem. And
yeah, and I wonder like what the rhetoric was around 2015. So like in 2015, you see, if you're just listening, you see a peak in the murder rate per 100,000. Was it over 100? And you kind of like leading up to 2015 is just kind of like a steady increase in incarceration rate, but nothing very drastic. And then right in 2015, it just plummets, and they end up meeting right around 2020. But yeah, I wonder if they were just like, okay, we're going to start, because even if you just change the rhetoric and make a couple of examples out of people, like we saw with the border is a great example of it. Like, all we had to do was bring Donald Trump in, and people were like, okay, we're going to stop coming. You didn't even have to really enforce anything. So if you can change the rhetoric and a few things around, like maybe in Chicago, you're like, okay, yeah, you don't get to steal up to $999 worth of things before we're going to arrest you. People's behavior will change very quickly.
well, it's like something that I've said to the kids for forever is, if violence isn't the answer, you're asking the wrong question. Like, if you look all through human history, violence is usually the answer. And it doesn't have to be actual violence. Sometimes just the threat of violence is enough to answer that question and change the outcome. Like, knowing that punishment is there and it's going to be enforced and it's going to be swift and brutal, that's enough to make people change behaviors. The changing consumer behavior is because there is no punishment.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you don't have the culture to do it, like Japan, for instance, to kind of police themselves, like a culture of like honor and personal responsibility, and just like there's not a lot of narcissism in Japan. They're bowing. It's a very submissive kind of culture. But if you don't have that, then maybe, you need like the threat of violence like they have in, is it like Singapore, where they just like chop your hand off for spitting your gum out on the street or something like that? Like, that works too. I guarantee you there's not a lot of like gum stuck to the sidewalks in the cities in Singapore. But yeah, that chart was very interesting. And then it did sort of flatline on that chart right around 2020 for like, I don't know, a year or something. It was flatlined, and then you see the incarcerations skyrocket to all-time highs, and the murder rate just plummet to all-time lows. So yeah, I think you can arrest your way out of these things. I'm gonna go. Yeah, I know, it's crazy. It's crazy. I wonder if in El Salvador they tried to just have like the peacemakers. They take some former gang members, I'm using that term loosely, and just turn them into peacemakers on the street. And maybe give some people some social workers and maybe like a whistle that they can.
Remember
blow.
the thing several years ago from Brazil where they had these like roving bike gangs, and the police basically said, you're going to have to deal with it yourself because there's nothing we can do about it. So then you had all of these like viral videos of people just going out of their way to run these motherfuckers over and chase them down and beat the fuck out of them in the street and stuff.
Those are the best videos.
Oh man. But it's like, there was one that was like a compilation video, and oh gosh, I wish I had saved it. There's this one that like pulls up on his bike in the middle of a street, and you see a car like at the end of the street, like crossing like in a intersection, and this guy like jumps off of his bike and runs over and snatches this chick's purse. And if you're watching off in the distance, this car goes by, backs up, then comes down, and they just come screaming down this alleyway and hit the bike. The bike goes flying, and the person who had went and grabbed the purse just like goes end over end flying through there. It looked like something out of a fucking cartoon. It was incredible. But that goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Like, either you are going to enforce law and you're going to solve the problem like Bukele did in El Salvador, or you end up with people mowing down bike gangs in the middle of the street with their cars like you have it in Brazil. Like, which do you want? Do you want people enforcing vigilante justice? Because once pushed to a certain point, people are more than happy to. These people were like tickled to death to have an opportunity to mow down some bike gang dude on the, like, there was one that they hit this dude and clip him and they back up so they can hit him again. Like, they were, they went all out.
And I mean, I know some people will be like, oh, well, it's a slippery slope. And then you'll just have people enforcing all kinds of stuff. But I don't really see the slippery slope, man. I don't really see it, other than you'll get like, somebody who would just do like a mass shooting or something like that of a certain group of people, just because that group is more prone to do something, and they're a little fucking nuts. So you'll get that. You'd probably get that anyway. You would get that even if there wasn't vigilante justice being enforced, because they would be seeing what's happening anyway, and they would be putting together the stereotype or whatever, and it would be pissing them off, and then they would just go crazy anyway. So I don't think allowing people to just crash into fucking scooter thieves and things would I just don't see the downside.
Well, that's
put me on that fucking jury, dude. I will let those people off
the people who are going to be enforcing the vigilante justice more often than not actually have a high degree of an honor code and of morality, and they're not going to be just out killing people for the sake of killing people. Like, it's
why they're doing. It's why they're enforcing it in the first place, is because they have the moral code and the stones to enforce. Yeah, but those videos are the just instant fucking karma for pieces of shit robbing people. There's nothing better. Nothing better. Speaking, should we do the Canadian thing? I sent you some follow-up stuff on the. Well, there's Mehdi Hassan had like a retarded comment connecting the Fauci thing to the USAID funding, which I was trying to throw in there late, but we haven't really talked about the Fauci thing. But maybe we should do that after the Canadian shooting, because we did have somebody going rogue.
So we have a shooting in Canada at like a Pornhub office, and a female cop shot a random bystander who was trying to get away from the shooter. And then when the real shooter came fleeing or came out, the cop flees, leaving two people dead. Here's
Nice hit, he's hit. No, you touché.
Dude. Yeah, so if you're just watching, there were two cops sort of crouched behind this planter, exchanging gunfire. Here comes the actual shooter. One cop gets hit, and I believe he died, right?
Look. He's there, Mick.
And yeah, now he's reloading. Like, now's the time to get it. Okay, yeah, I think they get him then. And the chick's still crouched behind that same planter thing. And I mean, I get it. Like, this is a fucking gunfight. I'm sure it's very chaotic.
Yeah, the guy who came running up on the police who were crouched behind the thing probably should have done a better job of identifying himself. But like, she just wheels and shoots the dude. Like, and again, I don't necessarily question it, because you're in the middle of a gunfight and somebody runs up on you. if he has not well identified himself, then you're subject
Yeah,
to.
it's just,
probably
and
gonna get
maybe
shot.
they didn't know how many shooters there were or something, but like you're already exchanging gunfire with somebody. Like, don't you kind of know where his position is? Like, he doesn't just magically travel like 30, 40 feet to be right next to you all of a sudden. But yeah, this guy kind of pops up next to her and she just turns and pop and just fucking clips him. Again, dude, just, and not like, I don't know what I would have done in that situation. Like, I'd be right. Like, I'd be ready to fucking shoot anything that got near me. So it's kind of hard to falter.
It's a little closer that you can.
Oh yeah, that's a good.
Nice
The guy's
hit.
kind of a fucking retard. Like, I don't know what.
Nice hit. Hit. Nice.
Like, I don't know what the guy's like a fucking retard, but she's also pretty retarded. Like, if that was the shooter, I don't think he would just be like standing behind. Like, you would be dead already, right? If he had just gotten that position on her. And yeah, dude, she just turns and shoots this guy.
Yeah, that's
like,
bad.
Where did you think the gunman was?
Bad move on both of their parts.
Yeah. Because if you were watching like there's another angle of the thing, and the shooter was like, I don't know, like 30 or 40 feet. You know, they had these like big pillars of the building or whatever with these planters behind him. And he was like 2 pillars over shooting at them. And they were like, in theory, they were returning fire. So like, I don't know how she thought he went from being like 40 feet away to being right behind her. But again, dude, women just should not be police, dude. They should not be in these positions. This is not the job for women. Not saying that, like, I guarantee you there'd be like I don't know what the percentage of people that would have done the exact same thing were, but it's certainly not 0 just because you put a man in there. But why are we having women in this position? She's essentially worthless. She's just crouched behind the plant. Yeah, see, there he is. So yeah. And they're shooting. And like, how do you think he just goes like if you don't know that he's still like 20 feet away from you when that happens, like, I don't know what to tell you. But maybe the reason why is because she's just crouched behind this thing, like doing nothing. But yeah, I mean, I have no idea. Like, that's got to be a fucking crazy situation to be in. Police are not really trained for that level of combat.
And like I said, I mean, that's just, it's bad all the way around. Like,
yeah,
the guy clearly shouldn't have been there. Should have.
And he was kind of like nonchalant about like was he going for cover? Because he just stood up and then he like kind of moseyed.
Yeah, it's
like, dude, I would have been running out of there, and I wouldn't have been sitting next to the fucking, like, I don't want to be sitting next to the target. Why wouldn't you just keep running and turn right and get the fuck out of there? I don't know. It just, yeah, the guy seemed kind of retarded. Yeah, some people's survival instincts are just not great. And do we know what the motive was, like, because it was like a porn thing? He was just like really anti-porn. That's why it was outside of a porn hub.
I have no idea.
But yeah, so I don't know, is the female officer eventually got hit, right? Do we know her? Last I heard, she was in critical condition. So she just kind of flees, I guess. Man, and it looked like she had an opportunity to get him, but again, I don't know. Women should not be in these types of roles.
The shooting took place near the Pornhub headquarters, which was mentioned in the gunman's manifesto. So apparently he had a manifesto. All these
he was like an incel or something. Yeah. So
104 pages. Oh,
wow, that's dedication. Yeah, it sounded like he had a lot of problems with women. So, yeah, I don't know. But the only takeaway I have from this was the same takeaway that I've always had, which is like, I don't want, like, especially if I'm in a fucking gunfight for my life. I don't want a woman next to me that I have to depend on to save me. My chances of survival are much better if I have like a big barrel-chested badass dude next to me than some chick. And yeah, it's kind of hard to falter for doing that, but at the same time, like, you can just kind of see that their whole approach was not very good. They were both kind of huddled, like both the cops were like crouched down behind this. Like, what are you guys doing? Like, how did you get pinned down in that position? First of all, like, why are you both right next to each other? There's two of you. There's one of them. Maybe you should split up. I don't know. Flank them. Yeah. So yeah, he got the one dude, the first cop that you saw in that video. He didn't make it. Was that cop was named Muhammad too?
I don't think.
Is that right? It was. I don't know. It was like, I saw like some post, and it just kind of. It was just like all the stereotypes that were involved in this shooting. They were like making a joke about it, but it was like the scene from The Sopranos where Meadows' bike gets stolen by a black dude, and Tony's just got this shit-eating grin on his face. It was a picture of him. It was from The Sopranos where he's just got this grin on his face, and it was like, yeah, some dude shot like a cop that was named Muhammad, and there was a female officer who shot like an innocent bystander, and it was just like,
who was
like
a rabbi?
Yeah,
from the Pornhub headquarters. I'm like, yes, that's all that.
Yeah. Oh man.
I don't know anything of you were talking about the Fauci stuff. I have not actually looked into that. So I don't really know what's going on with that.
It doesn't seem to have made a lot of none of the main big corporate press outlets are covering it. Which, kind of goes to, like, I haven't actually really looked into it either. Like, there's the Tulsi Gabbard clip. She said like her last day or whatever, she was going to release all these unclassify all these documents that so Fauci lied about X, Y, Z. The fact that, CNN isn't just coming out and saying, oh, this is all bullshit. Look at these lies. Like, this is a lie. That's a lie. That kind of, the fact that they're just trying to ignore it tells me that there's a lot of validity to what was being revealed there. So maybe we need to look into that for Friday, just to verify that we have everything we've been saying about Fauci over the last 6 years is probably true.
Say between the two of us, we should definitely dig more into that and be ready to roll on that on Friday. Because I mean, we had a lot of thoughts on it at the time. Let's see how
let's see how we did. Let's see how the track record was.
Yeah.
But yeah, the fact that there's just like a news blackout on this makes me think we were right.
In the meantime,
yeah,
I offered you some front runners for retard of the week this week.
Okay.
But the people are retarded.
So here's number one. Now this poor lady, she's trying to enjoy her child's graduation, but she can't. She can't do it. And here's why.
I'm at a middle school graduation. Portland. I'm not even going to mention which one.
Portland. Shocking.
Instead of being inside, I am outside doing a lap around the parking lot, making sure that there are no ICE vehicles around. Because if you think about the people who are inside taking risks to see their children graduate 8th grade, and they're scared to be in there, and the people who didn't even come. So I'm doing my best to make sure that people are safe.
Okay, so yeah, the volume on that wasn't great, but there is clearly a psychotic. Have you seen the movie Requiem for a Dream?
Yes.
Doesn't she kind of look like the mom when she's all strung out on fucking speed, like this red, scraggly red hair? She looks nuts.
She's got the chest tattoos, like you can, and then she's got these
Yeah.
big ass glasses, like just straight up looks fucking nuts.
Yeah, she's clearly nuts. She's patrolling outside the school because ICE is going to come raid it to get all these illegal immigrants that are graduating and their family members. So
Yes.
did she save everybody?
I'm assuming so. She single-handedly made sure that ICE did not interrupt this 8th grade graduation. Now, that one's pretty good, but there's some stiff competition for retard of the week, and this one's not even political. It's just straight up fucking hilarious.
Okay, what is going on here? She's delivering a package. Oh, Jesus. She just left the car and drive or something?
This right here, though, I mean, this is peak reaction. Like, talking about the the Spartan kick straight to the headlight to try to stop the car that's coming at her. I mean, that's
it's a pretty big car. So that dude, how does that even happen? I don't understand. Why was there such a delay in the movement of the car?
I'm assuming she put it in neutral instead of park, and it just
started to roll or something. Yeah. It seemed to pick up quite a bit of speed. It didn't look like there was that much of a decline there, but oh god, yeah. Oh man, that's a pretty good one. I have one flagged. Should we put this in? I've been wondering about this. Should we put it in the Facebook group and have people vote on retard of the week? Because we can't do, obviously we still have 3 days. It's a lot of time for retards to surface for the week.
Oh, put up, say this week's episode had 3 contenders for retard of the week. Do you have one better?
There we go.
And then
Yes.
challenge the people in the Facebook group to send us their contenders for retard of the week and see if theirs are better than ours.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea. So let me send you the one that I just flagged. This one's looks pretty promising as well. Where'd it go? Oh, come on. Oh, it's in my bookmarks. Yeah. Dun, dun. This is a good one. This is a good one. Go ahead and pull that up. I don't know if you've seen this. There's a couple potential retards in this one, I think.
That's even better when you get one video with multiple potentials.
Yeah. Did you get it?
My Twitter decided to space out.
Yeah, I can't figure, like mine's getting here. Maybe I should just play it.
Yeah, just play it. You can play it.
Let me pull mine up. Sometimes my computer is like, I did something to it, man. I think I fucked it up. And it like can't handle multiple tasks now. All right. Share my screen. This. Oop.
This is promising.
So there's a guy on a bicycle with a who nails this guy on a motorcycle in the head. The guy on the motorcycle goes crashing in. So yeah, see, dude, my computer like can't handle this anymore. It can't handle multiple tasks. It totally fucked this up. I need to get a fucking tech guy in here. I did something to try to make the thing faster, and I've ruined it. I completely fucking ruined this goddamn computer. This is so annoying. So now, oh yeah, no, it's the same retard. Okay, they pull him off this bike, and they're just letting his head flop around. Yeah, okay. Jesus, dude. That might be hard to top. He's like trying to cross. There's a guy trying to cross the street with like, I don't know, 30 feet of fucking lumber.
How much you want to bet the dude on the bicycle carrying this giant pole is a fucking Jeet? Like, because they're always on a bicycle carrying shit that they shouldn't be carrying on a bicycle. Like,
yeah. Yeah. And then he goes to render aid to the guy and he's just kind of like wiggling him around. I'm like, yeah, dude, maybe stabilize his head.
He already took a head trauma. That can't get any worse.
That was pretty big. Yeah. It's like, took a pole to the face and then took a car to the face.
So there's our first 3 contenders for retard of the week. If you have a better retard, send it to one of us either on Facebook or on Twitter, and we will post your suggestions for retard of the week on Friday, and then we'll figure out who the biggest retard of the week was.
Actually was. Yeah. That's going to be there's going to be a lot of material for that segment. I don't think that's ever going to struggle for retard of the week.
Just set Jim and Corey loose, finding all the retards on the internet. We can just do like daily shows of that.
Yeah. Well, I know Bernie Sanders had another retarded thing speaking of retards of the week. I don't know if how are we doing on time?
We are close. I need to wrap pretty quick.
Okay.
I need to wrap within the next 7 to 8 minutes, and Bernie's thing is 20 minutes long. What was he talking about?
He's trying to basically he's trying to create some sort of fund and give everybody a share of the big AI companies. Maybe we can tease this for Friday too.
Issues not only facing our country, but facing the world, and that is the advent of artificial intelligence, which most experts agree will almost certainly be the most transformational technology in the history of humanity.
Yeah. So the one thing, there's a lot of uncertainty around AI. The one thing that is certain is you cannot allow Bernie Sanders to do anything to try to influence where this is going. He is going to try to direct it into some socialist hellhole. He wants to create some sort of sovereign wealth fund where every American gets a share of AI company. It's dangerously retarded is the way I put it on X. So yeah, we can tease that for Friday. There's sort of a lot to unpack there, but like he is just trying to come up with ways to make the transformation to AI 1,000,000 times worse, in the name of helping the workers or something. You just look back through history at all of the transformational technological advancements, and every single time there's some sort of panicked socialist like Bernie Sanders saying that the sky is falling and this is going to be the worst thing ever. And it always ends up creating more jobs than it destroyed. And the only thing that could really stifle the best aspects of what AI has to offer is some sort of communist like Bernie Sanders. So more to come on that. AI stuff. There was a report out of Korea. The Korean markets crashed overnight. If anybody was following the markets today, why they gapped down significantly. The Koreans are. There's like a couple big semiconductor like hyperscalers or whatever in Korea that are questioning the speed at which they need to transition to a different type of chip, so to speak, not to get too far into the weeds of this. And man, dude, one article out of Korea crashed their markets. The NASDAQ closed down 1,000 points, down 3.29%, down across the board. AI stocks got hammered, absolutely fucking hammered. Of course, I had an option. I still have it, a long-term options position on a semiconductor ETF, and I had it. It expires a year and a half from now, and I already hit my price target yesterday, and I was like, oh, should I close this out because I've already hit my target. I was like, oh, there's a year and a half on this. Maybe I could let it run, and then of course it gapped down 15% today. So see if I fuck that up. But yeah, so the AI thing, there's a lot of unanswered questions, I guess, and there's a lot of money being invested into these types of companies that it's reminiscent of the AI bubble, where it's just like, yeah, there's going to be like certain companies like the Amazons that come out of this like crushing it, but then there's just going to most likely be a lot of money that was wasted on investing in certain things that are just not going to pan out. So there's a little market update for you. Futures are still down quite significantly. Yeah, we'll have to see what happens overnight. But yeah, man, that was wild. What one little article, one company being like, yeah, I think we need to scale back on this. And it was just like, boom. Look out below. But yeah, that is nothing compared to what Bernie Sanders can do to ruin all of this. So anyway, let's we can get out of here on that. Got anything else going on this week before Friday?
Not that I can think of. I'm working on finishing up chapter 1 of my book that I'm working on writing, and that'll chapter 1 will probably get released in 2 different parts on my Substack. So hopefully by the end of the week, I'll have chapter 1 wrapped up and out.
Oh, so you're gonna release it like piecemeal?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. All right. Yeah, I was wondering how you're gonna do that.
Yeah, I was trying to. My original plan was to like, as I write a chapter, to put the chapter out, but then I realized as I'm like about halfway through the first chapter, it's like, oh man, if I put like the whole chapter out all at once, all in one dump, that's a pretty big. That would be a pretty big piece. So I'm gonna split it up so that it's more digestible for people reading Substacks.
And then when you finish it, are you going to actually have like a hard copy book?
Yeah, that's the plan. Is once all of it is done, then it'll then I'll have it. I've got some friends who have self-published their own books and have offered to help with editing and looking through it and helping me get the whole thing. But once it's all done, then I'll publish it as an actual book. And then in the meantime, as I finish up different pieces of it, it'll be released as we go. So
what about an audiobook?
Me reading it?
Yeah, you or somebody with a nice southern drawl.
Jim, Jim needs to be the one that reads the book for the audiobook. That's yes.
Oh, that'd be great.
Unedited too. Like I don't need it to be him reading it perfectly all the way through. Like I want it to be with him stumbling over stuff and being like, oh shit. And then rereading parts of like,
yeah, and he could probably throw in some anecdotes here and there. Dude, I've listened to, I think, for sure, one of the Adam Carolla books I got on tape, and like when he was reading it, he would just like go off into tangents that aren't in the book. And it was great.
Yes, that would be awesome.
Nice. All right, dude. Do you have the title for the book yet, or is that gonna come to you when it's done?
Big Soup, and chapter 1 is actually an explanation of the title.
All right. So stay tuned for that. Check out his Substack. What's your Substack?
Fact check this Substack.
Fact check this Substack. All right. And we will be back on Friday. Thanks for listening, everybody. Until then, you know what to do. Just keep on peddling that so-called fiction. Peace.